Oh, finally something that is very interesting for me to show you. Let's get into the next magic method in the PHP called call, right? So let's create 3 files, index1 just to get this over with, index2. Okay, first let's have this class and it's empty. So if I call up the sum and maybe say class and call some method that doesn't exist, like this, something, if I run this, obviously I get into the error, but there is some magic in here. If I use public function underscore call and put name and arguments in here, let's see what we get in the var dump first. It's arguments, and let's see what we get. Yeah, get something, and suddenly the error is gone. So additionally, I can put some arguments in here as well, like this. If I do this, as you can see, the name is something, and I get an array which has something as an argument, and I can put other things as well. You see? So what call does for us is to help to create and call methods dynamically. I emphasize, create and calling methods dynamically, more dynamically, let's say. So let's get right up into some cool and real world examples. So it's going to be, let's say we have an SMTP mailer class to send emails with SMTP, obviously, and I have something called send, which is going to now say send with SMTP. That easy. And we have another class, let's say mail gun mailer, right, to maybe get help from another service to send our email to the client. And here also I have public function send method. The only difference, as you can guess, is send with mailgun or anything for that matter, doesn't matter. And here, and it's not related to our subject, but we can actually, to make it a little bit nicer, create an interface called mailer interface. And since all of our classes follow the same send method, we can simply say send in here, and here I can implement that mailer interface, and here as well implement mailer interface, right, to get from the same pattern. Okay, so I'm not going to do the obvious thing. You can simply call each class and call the method and get the send method, right? That's one way to do it. A more elegant way, in the OOP way, is to have some kind of decorator to help us to send the email aside from which class is being called, because as a client, as a developer, we don't know how many mailer we have in our code. So we want to have some kind of base class, base method to use it to send the email for the client. So maybe we have another class named mailer decorator, in which we have a protected mailer property, and we have constructor, construct method. And because both of these classes implement the same interface, we can simply say this, and the mailer is this, right? Until this far, I don't think it's complicated. I hope you get it. So, and we can simply say method send and do this, return this mailer sent. What it does, it's actually not that complicated. This mailer is coming from the mailer interface, and with send we can go to the send of each of these classes. Yes, it refers to the interface, but how we're going to use it is that we say mail, we new up the mailer decorator, and we now new up SMTP mailer. And what we should do after that, we should call the send method. That's it. So let's have index1.php, and as you can see, it sent the mail correctly. And if we call the mailgun, yeah. But you may be asking, what does this have anything to do to the call magic method? And you are right. I'm just saying that this is one way to do it. This is maybe the most usual way to do it, but a more elegant way, a more dynamic way, just to say, is that here in the mailer decorator, so this is going to be like this. So far we just need to add, let's indent this, public function underscore call, and have the name of that method and the arguments, and simply say return this mailer, and from there we get the name of the method, right, which is going to be send, and the arguments, the possible arguments that the send method has. So in this way the send method doesn't have any arguments, but we can actually go thoroughly on this one. So if I run this, I get the same exact thing, right? With the call method, I was able to dynamically call the method with this name argument and get the arguments and put it right here. So one way to extend this example is to put some arguments in the send method and var dump it, and you will see that this works perfectly. So what we did is use the call magic method. Why to use call magic method? Because the send method is in here, it doesn't follow up any of other interface or classes. We may simply change the send method in the future, but if we forget to actually do this for this one, the mailer will not work. So with using the call magic method, we can simply have whatever method in here just by calling the name. So I hope you got it, and I hope it comes handy in sometimes. Let's have another class. Maybe we have a query builder, right? Like the one in the Laravel or other frameworks for that matter. So let's have some kind of var clause, which going to takes up the key and of course the value of that column. So for now we just write on the key and the value, and let's new up the builder, which is going to be new builder class, and we can simply say builder var name is Alex. If I run this, I get the name, I get the Alex. So this is the column, this is the value inside the column, and this is, I know, very simple, but we're gonna take use of the call method. And if you dig up into the core of Laravel and any other frameworks, you can see they use magic methods very much in so many levels. So I'm not saying that call specifically, but other magic method that we talked about, getter, setter, set, toString, and other things, because this is the foundation of PHP actually. So let's say we want to make it a little bit more advanced. We want to have something like this, where name is equal to Alex, or maybe where email is equal to alex@gmail.com. How can we do that? So one way is to actually create a public function var name and do the things that we did before, but this is not going to be efficient because there are so many properties, and this is not going to be well coded if we do this one by one. Another thing that we can do is to create a call function with the name and the arguments, and I can have the key, and I will definitely explain this str to lower to make this lowercase, and str replace var empty string and the name, and I can return this var the key and arguments 0. Okay, what it does, it actually create the var clause that we want with the name arguments and put the arguments in there. So yeah, we could have so many arguments as we talked about, right? But we just want the first one as the value of that column as we talked before. So I'm putting the arguments 0 in here. So if I run php index2, I get the name Alex. And what's cool about this is that if I run this, I get the email as well. So I hope you got what it does actually. And they say it's empty. That's not relevant. Sorry. So yeah, with the call method we can create as many var clause as we want by just putting it like this. And I put the CL lowercase of course because to lower the var clause as well. So whether you use it like this in as a decorator or in the query builder or builders like this, the call magic method is one of the most advanced and famous magic methods out there. So my suggestion to you is to tweak this code, this and this one, and try to come up with some other examples of your own, and maybe let me know in the comment section if you have any other questions.